creating them. We are presently drifting into the narrative that had hitherto kept our clients in unlawful incarceration for 18 months, in clear breach of positive orders of court that directed for his unconditional release, unheard interference by the executive arm in the matter before the court, vile pronouncements capable of putting fears in the court is a case in point. This is evident in the recent extrajudicial remarks by the acting president, clearly containing his presentation before the Igbo Council of Traditional Rulers that agitation for Biafra is unconstitutional. In his submission, as it offends Section 2 of the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, as amended 211, and consequent threat of arrest and imprisonment of those that exercise this unquestionable and inalienable right to self-determination. This declaration is suspectly considered as not only provocative and unacceptable, but a clear case of undue interference with the judicial process, which have the capacity of distorting the mindset of the judicial officer seized of our client's case. It is important to remind the acting president that our client president's political trial originated from his legitimate exercise of his constitutionally guaranteed right to self-determination, as clearly provided for under extant laws and international instruments and covenants. It is therefore reasonably expected that any of such crucial remarks should not emanate from the Reverend Office of the Acting President. We do reference to the Acting President and his rank as a senior advocate of Nigeria. We deem it obligatory to state the correct position of the law as it relates to his faulty position. We observe most respectfully that let us say made this remark in direct response to quick notice, threats, and ultimatum handed down to Igbos living in the northern part of the country by a faceless and unfounded group going by the name of Arewa Youth Consultative Forum. But it must be noted very humbly that it is a mistake to equate the lawful and legitimate aspirations and agitation for Biafra with the unlawful, illegal, and illegitimate quick notice and threats given to Igbo people to leave the north by this group. We submit most humbly that the right to self-determination, which Nigeria is a state party, is clearly provided for under Article 21 of the African Charter on Human and People's Rights, Ratification and Enforcement Act Captain, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 1990. This law provides us, Article 20, sub 1, all people shall have right to existence. They shall have the unquestionable and inalienable right to self-determination. They shall freely determine their political status and shall pursue their economic and social development according to the policy they have freely chosen. The above law has been enforced in our jurisdiction since 1990, having ratified via Ratification and Enforcement Act, Laws of Federation 1990. It is our respectful view that the declaration by the acting president that the Biafra decision is unconstitutional is, with due respect, patently misconceived and inherently false. It is on this note that we most respectfully call on the acting president to be more circumspect in his further remarks as it relates to a substantive charge before the court. There is need for total restraint from comment, pronouncement, and declaration that have the effect of distorting the pendulum one way or the other, particularly on this phantom criminal charge against our client. In the Arewa Youth's unwholesome and wicked declaration, we saw an established case of treasonable felony standing on the face of the federal government of Nigeria. But the government has rather elected to look the other way. To confirm our reservations on the federal government's unpreparedness and unwillingness in opening their most touted case of treasonable felony against our client, hitherto, tried on the pages of newspapers and televisions. They have for the third time amended the charge preferred against our client and the other defendants. On the 22nd day of June 2017, we were served with amended information on the 5-count charge preferred against our client and other defendants. This amendment to the charge was effected in clear breach and violation of order made by the court on the 25th day of April 2017, wherein his lordship warned that the court will not entertain further interlocutory applications or process capable of delaying the trial, and consequently order the prosecution that the matter will be coming up on the 11th and 12th of July for different hearing. I'm talking about the order made by the court because when the court gave a directive as to an action to be taking place in court, that's the order. The court directed that this matter is coming up on the 11th and 12th of July for different hearing. The prosecution was further directed by the court to ensure that their witnesses are in court on this set date, that is on the 11th and 12th of July for hearing, so that they will open their case. In clear breach of this order, the prosecution, that is the federal government, filed an amended charge on the 22nd day of June 2017. And in the amended charge, a new party was introduced as the fifth defendant in the substitute charge. The effect of this amendment is to truncate the trial scheduled to commence on the 11th and 12th of July 2017, because entire proceedings will commence de novo after defendants must have taken fresh pleas to the amended charge. This is the calculated design by the federal government of Nigeria to stultify and truncate the proceedings initiated at the instance. Brian Chimezie, now joined as the fifth defendant, was arrested on the 14th of October 2016 by the operative of SSS. In his residence at Uyo, he was in the detention facility of the SSS when this charge was amended on the 8th day of November 2016. That's when Chidebele Onwudi was introduced as the second defendant in the suit. Because actually the matter was supposed to come up on the 8th day of November 2016 for trial, and on that day they amended their charge and introduced Chidebele Onwudi as second defendant. Now, in the ruling delivered on the application for the enforcement of the fundamental rights suit filed on behalf of Brian Chimezie, the Federal High Court to Uyo, Akwa Ibom State, on the 24th day of May 2017, ordered the State Security Services to release Brian Chimezie forthwith, and consequently found them culpable for illegal detention of Brian Chimezie in gross violation of his fundamental rights. The court proceeded to award 5 million naira damages, compulsory damages in favor of Brian Chimezie. Again, the State Security Services. This order has been photocopied, made available to people in due course. The above order was promptly served on the State Security Services. Still, they failed to release Brian Chimezie as ordered by the court. Following their refusal to obey the order made by the court, we caused the contempt proceedings to be initiated against the Director SSS through the issuance of Form 48. That is notice of consequences of disobedience to court order and service of same on them. On their failure to comply, Form 49, which is notice to show cause why the director should not be committed to prison for contempt, was issued and equally served on their director. These actions gave rise to filing of a formal motion for committal. When they failed to comply with this Form 49, we filed a formal notice of committal to prison, which was also served on the director SSS, Akwa Ibom State. However, in their smart move to escape the wrath of the law, and in treating the orders of the court with levity and disdain, they amended the present charge, already slated for hearing on the 11th and 12th of July 2017, and consequently smuggled in the name of Brian Chimezie as the fifth defendant in the substitute charge. It is therefore very worrisome and absolutely ridiculous that offences presently preferred against Brian Chimezie in the said amended charge are all serious offences, to wit, conspiracy to commit treasonable felony and importation of goods such that they are not weighty enough to warrant his unlawful incarceration in the custody of the SSS for a period of 9 months without trial or bail. Section 35, sub 1 and 4, A and B of the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 2011 as amended, is explicit on the maximum length of time a citizen can be detained in the custody either with order of court or without trial. This maximum period of time is 2 months, and Brian Chimezie has spent well over 9 months in the detention facility of the SSS without trial. Section 35(4) B of the Constitution command in all unequivocal terms his immediate release without prejudice to any further proceeding that may be brought against him. In this instance, without prejudice to the present charge filed against him, It's more so when a court of competent jurisdiction has ordered the State Security Office to release Biafrexit. On the strength of the foregoing, we therefore make the following demands. 1. That the 5-count charge preferred against our client Nnamdi Kanu, Chileberonwudiwe, Benjamin Madubu, David Nwawisi, and Biafrexit be immediately withdrawn and the defendant freed without further ado, as they have committed no offense known to law, and particularly premised on the ground that the federal government of Nigeria has bluntly refused to open her case on the criminal charge preferred against our client. Benjamin Madubu, David Nwawisi, and Biafrexit cannot continue to be detained on the strength of the frivolous concocted charge in breach of their statutory granted right as clearly encapsulated under Chapter 4 of the Constitution. There must be an end to litigation. The federal government has no case against our clients. As such, they are also not ready to proceed with the hearing of the suit of the case. They cannot allow the criminal charge, concocted charges, to be continue to hang on the neck of our clients. 2. That Biafrexit, who was ordered to be released by the order made on the 24th day of May 2017 by His Lordship, Honorable Justice John Ojukwu of High Court Number 1, Uyo State, be released immediately without further ado, and in compliance with the positive orders of court. Thank you all, gentlemen and friends, for being part of this press conference. We welcome you all. My learned colleagues who are also appearing for the defendants, for the second to fourth defendants, I equally have something to say to the press. Afterwards, we'll be ready to entertain questions from the gentlemen of the press. So on that note, I will call on Chifa in Nnamdi to also make his speech to the world. Thank you very much.
Gentlemen of the press, here today I'm appearing for the third defendant, Benjamin Madubu. Yes. And in my own case, I'll be legalistic. I'm not a politician. And I am northern Nigerian. Tell you clear. I'm calling for the release of Benjamin Madubu, who is my client in this matter. And also the release of his Mercedes formatic Benz car, still be held by the SSS. His properties are not part of the offences he's alleged to have committed. The properties taken from him and many others, especially these Mercedes cars, the SSS have no reason to keep it till now. I am calling on them to release it to him immediately. I'm also calling on Amnesty International to grant him the prisoner of conscience status. It was denied before because the allegation was that he had a container load of weapons. At the end of the day, the charges in court read 2 guns, pump action. These are for game purposes, and they are properly licensed. I have seen the license with the SSS. These sort of charges ought to be dropped. The charges were concocted in the first place to show the world that these people actually were gathering arms to go to war. A man gathering arms will not get licensing for it. It is for gaming purpose only. With respect, gentlemen, in due course we will exhibit copies of the licenses. Gentlemen, he is also accused of belonging to an unlawful society, which has been struck out by the learned judge for Federal High Court. The question is now is unlawful society. That brings to mind one question: how lawful is Arewa Youth Forum, led by one Yerima, who is evidently above the law, and himself and the forum is overpampered by this government? It's overpampered by the government. I wish to say that what is good for the goose is also good for the gander. If they cannot touch him, leave these boys. Let them go. Let them go. As long as no offense has been committed. By coming together to say, we are this name, we are by this name, it doesn't constitute an offense. The government can sit down and let them go. if they can let Yerima go, who himself is head of an unlawful society. Like what Yerima is doing, what he has done, and is on the 6th of June, he made a unilateral declaration to send all Igbos packing out of the north. Even this newspaper, 2nd August, Arewa Youth, Arewa Youth, relaxed speech order to Igbo. And the press is carrying this. They are relaxing as if it's the government. Untouchable. You see, it's offensive, it's not very comfortable. What Yerima did and is still doing is not different from what my own brother, Major Gideon Oka of Benue State, did in 1992. He was tried and summarily executed. Oka now, on the radio house, excised from what he said the northern part of Nigeria, and it was laughs all over the place. It's impossible, completely impossible viewed from our constitution. What Yerima is doing is most unconstitutional. What he has done is very unconstitutional, and we are still asking that the SSS should bring him to justice. If we are not going to allow these other boys, let them bring him to justice, so that we have equity in our country. I wish to let you know that we have a democracy in place. We are not running an autocratic government. We are not running a despotic government. We have a democracy. That is, from the east, from the west, from the north and south. All of us come together, three senators each from states and representatives. We now form one strong body to take decisions. Democracy, through these men, it has its own inbuilt mechanism for peacemaking. They take all decisions. Whether this is to be or not to be, they take that decision. With that, I am calling on the government to drop all charges and rather face the round table to resolve all issues. To be or not to be should be discussed at the table. That is what I mean, the court of democracy. Whatever way we will go, that is by submission. Gentlemen of the press, thank you very much.
What's your name? Name?
Well, gentlemen of the press, I repeat my humble self, Maxwell of Alliance Square. I'm the counsel representing the fourth defendant, David Walls, in this foreign trial. Now I inform you that as I speak, we are talking about health. My client, David Walls, is down medically at Kuje prison. The reasons being that the Kuje prison authority lack the necessary facilities to treat him. Not only that, some of the medical personnel in Kuje prison made some comments which David Nwanwusi did not find funny, said that he will die in this prison. And based on that, David decided not to take any medical treatment from them and applied that his own private medical doctor from a popular specialist hospital should come and treat him. All his effort to that effect proves abortive because the authority of Kuje prison refused the medical doctor access to David, saying that he must do that based on a through court order. We filed a motion ex parte together with affidavit of agency and motion on notice before the court. All our effort to move the motion was refused by the judge. The reasons being that he has about 9 rulings to deliver and 10 judgments to give, and he has 4 days before he will go for vacation. And the trial judge refused to read our affidavit of agency attached to the said motion. And as we speak now, David Nwanwusi is in Kuje prison with treatment. Please let it be on record. And on the issue of the trial itself, when Nnamdi Kanu was arrested, they arraigned him in court. When the matter was due for trial, they brought in Benjamin. While the Benjamin and the Nnamdi was starting the trial, the matter was about to go on, they brought in David. As soon as the matter is ripe for hearing, we are about to take off, they brought in Chidebere. Now, just like as my learned friend said, on the last adjourned date, my Lord said, the Honorable Justice Nnamdi said that the matter must go on. That is not ready to entertain any other application. 48 hours before the date, they brought in Bright Chimeze. And as I speak to you, they have about 30-something persons waiting that they will bring in one after the other. That is to say, in the next 20 years, we'll still be talking about amendment of charges. During the application for bail, we filed an application for bail. I filed application for bail of David Mausi. And in my application for bail, I invited the judge to review the proof of evidence, whether the proof of evidence supports the charge in line with the Administration of Criminal Justice Act. Gentlemen of the press, the judge refused to read that particular aspect. I made the application available to you, and I also make the ruling in that regard available to you. For you to know that the judge did not even care to look at the proof of evidence. It's good because we have the typist and the printer to write conspiracy to commit a reasonable felony, so that when the press hear it and the international community say, oh yes, it's standing the trial of a reasonable felony and it doesn't deserve charge. I want to invite you, it's a public document. If you don't have it, we will give you the proof of evidence, whether the proof of evidence supports the charge to start with. We also talked about the issue of condition for bail. Of course, any order made in bad faith cannot stand. And we have been expecting the NJC to reveal that particular condition for bail given to Nnamdi Kanu. When Nnamdi Kanu was at the prison, Nnamdi Kanu interacted with over 300 persons. He talked to the media. Who is the media? A media is a person that will talk and is ready to disseminate their information. He talked to people in the Kuje prison there. Then when you now when you granted him bail, now you now remove that particular right. And we are saying that that condition for bail is worse than denial of bail itself. Yes, it's worse than denial of bail itself. And we are even expecting that by now, NJC would have on their own, in line with the NJC Act, initiate investigation about and the reason behind that particular condition for bail. Asking somebody not to talk to the media is as good as asking that person to not to talk to anybody at all. Asking somebody not to move in the midst of 10 persons is asking that person not to even come out to breathe a fresh air. We also, there is the issue of talking about content violation of content by the media. I want to also correct that impression. Nnamdi Kanu never violated any lawful order made by court. In quote, lawful order made by court. If you made an unlawful order, it shall not be obeyed. That is the simple truth. Nobody can give an order that you should not breathe air. Nobody can give an order that you should not drink water. It cannot stand. That one is that. Then, just like as my colleague said, we are talking about disobeying of court order. You, the gentlemen of the press, can bear me witness that this particular government are fond of disobeying court order. You can see the issue of the Dasuki, Isa Zaki, and some other persons, just like our own client, Bright Chimeze. A court of competent jurisdiction gave an order that you should release this person, and they gave him pay him a compensation of 5 million naira. What are you expected to do? Instead of you to comply, then you now go the other way around, just like as they said. Well, while waiting for your question, let me just also inform you so that you can go home with this. Nnamdi Kanu did not say that there will be no election in Anambra State. Get it right. Nnamdi Kanu said there shall be no election except you give us date for referendum. What is referendum? Referendum is as good as election. And he is making things very easy for the federal government. Let people decide. If the people say that yes, they don't want any self-determination, that will end the matter. Why are you afraid of referendum? So, that is the impression I want to correct. Mind you that Nnamdi Kanu never bear any arms against the federal government. Thanks for having me.
We are coming to the question, sorry.
Yes, my name is Chuku. I'm counsel representing the fifth defendant, Bright Chimese, who has been joined in the charge in the matter preferred against Nnamdi Kanu and the rest of others. It becomes very worrisome when an agency of government that are supposed to be ensuring that the provisions of the constitutions are obeyed by the citizens are the same people flaunting the same order. It becomes so very worrisome. An order of court was given, Federal High Court order, sometime in May 2017, that my client should be released immediately and also awarded 5 million naira cost against DSS. As I'm talking to you now, Bright Chimeze is still in the custody of DSS. They have been flaunting the order of this court. And what they did was to hurriedly go to the Federal High Court sitting in Abuja to prefer charges against him, to join him with Nnamdi Kanu and the other defendants. And they are still in breach of the order of court. I wonder what the society we are in, the country we are in, when the director of DSS is flaunting the court order. Now it goes to showing that the court is no longer the hope of the common man. We can't even determine whether my client is going to have justice in this matter, because we have already filed application for his bail. But the issue is this: since we had filed application for his bail before, and it's being flaunted by the DSS, what assurance are we going to get from the court that if they grant an order releasing him on bail, that discharging him, that the same DSS will release him? It becomes very, very worrisome. And on this point, I'm categorically calling on the director of DSS to honorably resign his position for having flaunted the order of court. It means that he has flaunted the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. He has shown the Federal Republic of Nigeria that you can stand and disobey court order and nothing happens. The 5 million naira awarded against them, they have not paid. The order for him to be released has not been complied with. Now, how do we now expect an ordinary man in the society to obey the court order? More so, the charges brought against my client are charges that are so very unserious. They are charges that are not, they are conspiracies to commit three-level felony, which has the maximum of 7 years, and also illegal importation of goods, maximum of 5 years. These are offenses that are ordinarily bailable. And we cannot see why they did not comply with the order of court. What they did was to now hurriedly rush, after about 9 months, hurriedly rush to Federal High Court Abuja to prefer charges against our client. It becomes so very worrisome that this society, we don't expect that this country should be run this way. Like I said, I am clearly saying, calling on the director of the SSS to honorably resign his position as the director. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. So, gentlemen on the press, we are ready to entertain a few questions from you people and we have to take down the questions as it comes, and the defense team has to, we all have to participate in responding or addressing each and every of the issues arising in your questions. So we are ready to go on. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon.
Your name?
My name is Victor Sinagres, and I'm an editor with Radio Nigeria. I am wondering why most members of this defense team are taking a position against the northern youths when what they have done is a direct response to, according to them, the so many years of harassment by Biafran agitators, which is culminating now in the work of IPOB. According to them, for so many years, despite the fact that the civil war has come and gone, Northerners are being harassed. Apart from Northerners, other Nigerians are being harassed who are not from the Southeast, day in, day out, with these agitations from the Southeast, and therefore they have come up with that. I'm worried that you are taking that position against them.
Hello, my dear.
Go.
My name is Evelyn.
Who?
Evelyn Okafor. I write for Premium Times newspapers. My first, what I call it a question now, or a request, so to say, is that we need copies of the court judgment or the court ruling where Biafrexit was granted, according to you, granted bail. We would like to see the copies to know.
Before you go down, this is the first I crossed.
Is that what was
Yeah, it's coming from, we are distributed, so maybe you came late.
Okay, I just wanted to be sure.
Yes, we have done that already, yeah.
Get the exact words.
Those are there.
And I don't know, for those of you probably who have been following Premium Times, we have tried to do a research and analysis of because one of the major responsibilities of us as journalists is to ensure, in as much as possible, that the information as is disseminated is as accurate as possible. Now, we have tried to assess to find out, like you have claimed, that Nnamdi Kanu before April 25 was granted bail for the sake of being granted bail, like what happened in the court on April 25. Now, I would like you to verify your claim, what you have said about the disobedience of court orders, where the particular court orders that were disobeyed, what were the court statements of that is the rulings of the court, and why, how did the circumstance come to be the court orders that you claim were disobeyed? That's second. And basically that's what I can remember.
Sorry, let me get the clarification from your question. Sorry about that. Sorry, please. No way too many people are talking. You are referring to the court order that was disobeyed. Actually, can you be specific as to the one you are referring to? Because we have many of them that were disobeyed by the federal government, starting from when he was granted bail initially by the courts before he was released on bail. So the orders were all flouted, containing our statement, first statement. So I want to understand the actual court order you are referring to in this context. The one you are talking about being disobeyed.
Take for instance this particular paper that we have here today.
Yeah.
The court, the bill mentioned there is that of April 25. And since Nnamdi Kanu's case began in October 2015, to the most of, I think 90 to 100% of the court sittings, I have been there. So I'm trying to understand from your statements, because you just said court orders were flouted.
Yeah.
You didn't mention the particular court orders that were flouted. So I want you to mention to us the court orders that were flouted. How were those court orders given? The circumstances that led to them, the particular ones that were flouted with the dates and the circumstances that led to them. That's what
All right. Good day, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Victor Onido. I'm writing for BTV. So I want to start my question from the first person that asked question. He said that the IPOB have been harassing people, and I want to know in what way, he did not clarify himself, in what way have the IPOB harassed anybody since they started their agitation?
Basil Okafor, I report for Call TV. Yes, sir, please, I want to get clear on what he said on the application. He said we have filed to vacate the conditions of bail imposed on your client, Nnamdi Kanu. I want to get it clear. Are you going to the same court before Justice Bitanyaku to order for variation of the bail condition? And also, can you also clear this allegation made against Nnamdi Kanu that he has been going around violating the conditions of the bail given to him? Thank you.
Okay, good. Thank you very much. Okay, good.
I know you're not. I'm coming.
Okay, good.
Godfrey Obimental of Kalatiti. Yes, more like a question that has been answered by slightly. The issue of the federal election, that's the burning issue. What is the position of IPOB regarding the forthcoming federal election?
Okay, thanks.
Yes, sorry, my third question. I'm very sorry. Let me just quickly ask this question. The third question, I was going to say it, but I forgot. We have seen videos where at the start of the agitation, Nnamdi Kanu was seen as saying things like, if Biafra is not granted, what happens to Somalia like that will be small compared to what happened to Nigeria.
Purported threats.
Yeah, the purported threats. Now, what would you like to say about those sort of videos?
Thank you very much. Let me make this observation before we proceed. In as much as we're trying to attempt some of these questions you raised here, I would like to bring to your knowledge and attention too that I want us to be guided by the context of our statement the present briefing, and also the message we are trying to convey to the general watch about the way and manner the federal government is going about Nnamdi Kanu's trial. So, in regards to the first question raised by Mr. Victor of Radio Nigeria, I will call on Chief Adoga to address the question, and afterwards we may make further contribution to as an addendum to the answers he has for the question. Thank you very much.
Gentlemen of the press, on the issue of Northern Youth Forum and their order, the disturbing aspect there is the ownership, the assumption of ownership role by a section of the country. Can you hear me? By that, a group has come together and said, we own the country. I started by telling you I am proudly Northern. Immediately, some of us dissociated ourselves with that. If you look at the amalgamation order in council in 1914, and also the British order in council which gave us independence in 1960, it did not place any group as superior to the other. We came together as one and equal people, staying together in peace and harmony. And for the minorities of Nigeria, they brought in the fundamental rights to take care of. That was the Willing Commission. They brought this in to safeguard other interests. So if Biafra, for 51 years, they have been shouting right from Ojukwu, why did the Yorubas not protest? Understand what I'm saying? Why not the Edo people, Midwest? Why Northern? You see, by that, it tells you a group of people say, we are the owner. And that was, we felt a pinch. I said, no. This boy has gone too far. These boys have gone too far. You didn't carry everybody along. You cannot say, Igbos leave the country. Gideon Oka did that. And we condemned him, roundly condemned him. You can't say that. When he was on trial, some of us went there. I said, you don't have to do this. That was too much. Sowing seed, deliberately sowing seed of discord. What he has done, it has started. It has not been condemned. Quote me, it has started. Another group will get up one day and say, you get out. You, for how long? That is why it is terribly bad. He should be told in clear terms that he or his group or his people are not the owners of the country. That everybody came together as equals in peace and in harmony. Does that answer that question?
Yes. Thank you very much. In addition to what you just said, in addition to what they just said by the chief, I specifically mentioned in my page 4 of the first briefing that it would be a mistake to equate the lawful and legitimate aspiration and agitation for Biafra with the unlawful and illegal and illegitimate quit notice and threat given to the people to leave the not by the group, by this group. Now, let us understand this fact. Arewa Youth Consultative Forum is giving a direct threat to people. That cannot in any way be compared with legitimate aspiration or expression of people's right as contained under the law. Asking people of certain region to leave the northern part of the country, giving them ultimatum as to time to live there, and also taking steps to inform them that upon the realization of the region affected, that the Arewa Youth Consultative Forum has already set up partiality in place to take inventories of their properties, the assets, and whatever you have there to acquire safe. It's a clear case, it's a criminal action. It is worrisome that